Scott. Thank you, Scott.
Yep. All set.
Are we ready? Okay. All right, this is Shawsheen Valley Regional Vocational School District School Committee meeting for January 26, 2021. Welcome, everyone. Pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law 38, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Shawsheen Valley Regional Vocational Technical School District Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by accessing the meeting link. No in-person attendance or members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Shawsheen website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, so again, welcome everyone. In attendance is Mr. Gillis, Mr. Geddick, Mrs. Gillis, Ms. Asbedian, Mr. McIntyre, Mr. Fusco, the superintendent, Jackson, and the assistant superintendent Hagman, and I am Attorney Muse. And I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay, so approval of bills. We do have one legal bill. I need a motion to approve.
So
Make a motion
moved.
to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
There'll be a roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimous vote. Approval of the minutes of December 15th, 2020. I need a motion.
So motioned.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Aye.
Roll call.
There's no roll call.
You gotta do a roll call.
Oh, we have to do a roll call for everything.
Patty.
Oh,
Patty, I don't want us to get in trouble with the Attorney General.
oh my gosh, sorry about that.
Melanie will get us out of trouble.
Ah,
Can we
all
use sign
right,
language?
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Bedian,
Yep. Yes.
Mr. McIntyre,
Yes.
Mr. Fusco,
Yes,
and the chair says aye, unanimous vote.
got it.
All right. Correspondence. There were 2 letters of thanks for dish gardens we sent. I think that was it.
Yeah,
So I appreciate the superintendent doing that for us. And I just lost my video.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yep.
I
Yes.
can hear you. Can
Hear
see
you
you.
and see you. Can see
Oh,
you.
all right. Well, I can't see what happened here there. Okay, right now we have public comment.
So we
So,
Putting up the public comment screen right now, Madam Chair.
okay,
Members who have public comment are invited to call that phone number on their screen. This is only for when this meeting is being viewed live on January 26, 2021. Call that phone number, enter that meeting ID and password, and we will get notification that you're requesting to enter the room.
so we'll wait a few minutes.
I don't have anybody requesting access, Madam Chair.
Okay, Superintendent. So we're up for your report. You might lose me for a minute because I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay,
I can't get my camera, so.
we'll just hold on just a minute. I'm going to try to share my screen. I wanted to give you all a quick update on a few things that are going on at Shawsheen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I wanted to report out on a few quick topics. I will make this quick, but I did thought there's a lot of great things going on at Shawsheen right now, and I wanted to highlight them for the committee and the community who's watching this meeting. And I'm basically going to give a quick COVID update, give the committee an update on the class of 2025 admissions process, give you an update on the auditorium ceiling repair project, an update on the Cassidy Field toilet facility project, give you an update on where we are with winter sports and extracurriculars. And then there was a new agenda item added today that you should have gotten via email, a request to make a minor modification to the 2020-21 school calendar. So in terms of COVID, I wanted to give the committee an update on where we are. This is a listing of the number of cases we have seen since we started tracking this fall. I want to be very clear that a case is defined as a member of the Shawsheen community who reported testing positive for COVID and were physically present at Shawsheen during the period when he or she was contagious. And by physically present at Shawsheen, that can either be in school or if they were on a team and they were remote, but they were practicing or whatever, but physically they had Shawsheen contacts. We have had a total of 21 of those cases. I have to tell you, we have had more reports of students and staff members testing positive for COVID, but they've taken place either when they are on their remote week and were not in school when they were contagious based on when their symptoms first appeared. So they do not count in, so we don't have to do direct contact tracing. So of those 21 cases, there were a total of 246 direct contacts. So those are Shawsheen people, whether they be staff members, students, or both. And only one case of a suspected in-school transmission. That is, to me, an extraordinarily positive thing to report out of 246 direct contacts, with one suspected in-school transmission. That's a 0.4% in-school transmission rate, which is very, very low. So don't want to jinx anything, but I did want to give you an update on where we were with COVID. In terms of the class of 2025 admissions process, this screen gives you an idea of where we are in terms of applications that we track by week. The first set is for the class of 2023, so that was 2 years ago at this time. The middle set is the class of 2024, which is our current freshman class, and the third set is the class of 2025. We have had some challenges when it comes to trying to recruit during get our name out when it comes to doing because all of our sister schools and communities are in a hybrid model, so we haven't been able to go visit any 8th grade classes, for example, and have those big assemblies. We haven't been able to have open houses. Nonetheless, we are thrilled to have to date, and this is not yet closed yet, but to date, we have 384 applicants for our freshman class. We have completely pivoted to an online process, online recruitment, used a lot of access to social media, et cetera. And both Jenna Lesko and Andy Pigeon have led that effort and done an extraordinary job, assisted very ably by Greg Bendel, who has been doing a lot of work with our social media in the social media area. So this is a breakdown of our current applications by town. We have 8 applications from Bedford and Hanscom, 142 from Billerica, 38 from Burlington, 82 from Tewksbury, and 114 from Wilmington. That's a big number. I have already notified the superintendent in Wilmington and the town manager that those numbers are very high this year, and that because I wanted them to be aware of that. But we have stepped up. We've been targeting a lot of our recruiting in particularly in these past couple of weeks in Bedford. We sent out a postcard to every 8th grader reminding them February 1st is our application deadline.
Because I wanted to then.
So finally, just to give you a kind of a view of some of the issues we've been focusing on. As I said, we have been doing a lot of live events and running one a week essentially by our staff, starting at 6 o'clock most nights. So we've been highlighting a lot of our shops, et cetera. The last event is going to be this coming Thursday night at 6 p.m. Meet the superintendent and principal. It's going to be a riveting online experience for those who want to come join us and ask us anything about Shawsheen, the application process, or get answers to the questions that they may have. Deadlines for application again is February 1st, which is this coming Monday. And to date, we have completed 200. Jenna Lesko, Ms. Lesko, has completed 297 phone interviews. So we are really hustling to get those done and to keep people's interest up. So we're very excited about that work. And I'm very, very proud of how everybody has basically shifted from a open house / go to each 8th grade and do a dog and pony show auditorium presentation, shifting to this model. And it seems to be working out very, very well. I think next year we will probably return to some of the old tried and true methods, but also we'll have access to much of this information as well. In terms of the auditorium ceiling repair, just wanted to give you a heads up that the auditorium ceiling has it's been coated. It was stripped and it has been the skim coat has been reapplied. We're going to wait several weeks for it to thoroughly dry to check, and we want to make sure its integrity is solid before we take down. If you see in the middle picture that the plywood on the bottom is the scaffolding that they put up throughout the auditorium so that they could reach the ceiling. So we're going to keep that up for a couple of weeks. We're actually giving some thought to, while the scaffolding is up, giving that high part of the walls a fresh coat of paint, because they'll be they'll be pretty easy to access, or easier to access. So that is coming down in our very near future. In terms of Cassidy Field, today was a red letter day in terms of the construction of that facility. Our carpentry shop supervised the installation of the ceiling, these roof trusses that were brought in and installed with the assistance of a crane. So that facility is taking shape, and it was cold out there today. Those students were working very hard to install those trusses. So not only are they getting great real work, practical experience, but it's going to result in a really terrific facility that's going to really enhance the experience of our fans. In terms of extracurriculars, this is up to date as of this morning, Ms. Gillis. I'll stand corrected because I know there was a girls varsity basketball game tonight, but all of our teams, we're fielding 3 boys basketball teams, 2 girls basketball teams, 2 boys hockey team, a girls hockey team that is a co-op team between Shawsheen and Bedford High School, and our co-ed swimming team. They have games. They are about halfway through their schedule now. So we have over 160 participants this year who will participate in about 89 contests, assuming they all run. We have live streamed a lot of our varsity games and meets, and a majority of the sub-varsity games and meets. We are also, thanks to Mr. Fusco, we are also in conversations with BATV and Billerica to perhaps either rebroadcast or simulcast some of our games over local cable access. We are also, because we do not, and we're doing that because we do not allow spectators. We are in the process of working through some issues so that we can coordinate a senior night for each sport where parents of seniors will be able to physically be present at their senior night, the student's senior night game, to watch in person and to participate in that ceremony that traditionally takes place at senior night. So we wanted to give parents that opportunity to participate at that level as well. So we're very excited about that. We also are running a full gamut of extracurriculars this year. Our esports teams are going crazy, and they are so popular at Shawsheen, and the students are really, really enjoying it. They're not called the Gay Straight Alliance anymore. I apologize. I forget their current name, but that's the concept. They're meeting several times a week and meeting with other schools and participating in common events. Our robotics club is meeting and getting ready for a remote robotics competition that's going to take place on March 6th. Our National Honor Society seniors are meeting and also working independently to fulfill their community service requirements. Our classes are all meeting, and they are working very hard to try to brainstorm some class activities. We also have student council, chess club, music club, and the Reading Rams book club. And any student who's interested in joining any of our clubs and activities should visit our clubs and activities page on our website. So now, finally, I wanted to, this is a request for action on the part of the school committee. I'm requesting that you consider a modification to the 2020-2021 school calendar. My reasoning is that currently the Skills USA district competition, in the past, that has taken place at Greater Lowell Regional Vocational Technical High School. But in-person district competition has been canceled. They have substituted instead that each school must host their own students at their own site for a, they've also replaced the written exams that take place as part of the district competition with online tests that have to be conducted on school-provided computers, much like MCAS, actually. And these online tests must take place on Thursday, March 11th. And the online tests are expected to last 2 to 3 hours, must be proctored again by our local personnel. So this is going to require us to basically take over the cafeteria and gym, make them testing sites, and reallocate much of our school-based computers, carts, and stuff that we have in some of our shops to properly administer the online test. This simply cannot happen when school is in session. First of all, we don't have the capacity because we're going to have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who may or may not be remote. We need the cafeteria and gym when school is in session for those events and to feed everybody. So Ms. Cook and Mr. Norkowitz came up with the recommendation, which I support and recommend to you, that we move the half-day teacher workshop day that's currently scheduled for Tuesday, March 17th, and move that to March 11th. And then we would begin the exam administration after dismissal of students. So it doesn't make any changes to the calendar, essentially, other than moving the half day from making it 1 day earlier. So I'd be happy to answer any questions the committee has about that. And so it would move from Wednesday, March 17th to Thursday, back to Thursday, March 11th. And that's my report and my request.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
So if our teachers are proctoring the skills test, does that mean they are missing out on professional development?
That was my first question, Ms. Gillis. That we are going to be proctoring with administrators so that the teachers can participate in their professional development and planning activities.
Thank you.
I'll move the superintendent's recommendation.
I'll second it.
Patty. She back online?
Have we lost Patty?
Is it Patty?
Nope,
I'm
there's
Sorry,
still-
I muted myself for a minute.
Okay.
I'm still looking at Brad's screen.
Miss-
Well, there we are.
All
Patty,
right, Mr. Gillis, how do you
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Mr. Fusco.
yes.
I vote yes, so it's unanimous vote.
Thank you. And that completes my report.
All right, thank you. Subcommittee reports, policy subcommittee. Mrs. Bedian.
Right, so the policy subcommittee met tonight just before the meeting, and we went over the suggestions that were recommended to the procedure. I'm sorry, what's it?
For public input.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They beat me to it. For the public input policies that were recommended at the last meeting, and we voted unanimously to accept it, and I recommend that the committee does the same.
Okay, so that's a motion. Can I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right, Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre,
Yes.
Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, it's an unanimous vote. Okay, I don't see any old business. Does anybody have any old business they wanted to discuss? Under new business, the FY 22 through 26 capital budget approval.
Ms. Hagman,
Ms.
could you?
Hagman?
Sure. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
So we met with the budget subcommittee back in December and we made our recommendation to them and it was approved. And now in front of you is the final capital budget, but just quick highlights to talk about. And just so you know, the recommendation, the original budget requests that come through, we sit down and we go through them with Dave Norkowitz, the principal. So when Brad and I met with them, some of the items that teachers request that you see as a 0 in the superintendent's column doesn't mean we're not purchasing them. We might be pushing them off a year. We might be able to buy them currently. A good example is masonry. They put in for a trailer for next year. We were able to purchase it this year. We had some Perkins savings. And so we did an amendment to Perkins and we were able to purchase it that way. So it's not that we're not buying it or we don't take these items seriously. Again, sometimes we're just able to buy them through different funding sources, or we try to prioritize what is in the best interest of the district. So as you go through that, you might question why we made those changes. And that's why the academics, everyone wants new desk and chairs. What we've done a few years ago, we put one line item in there, about $20,000 for desk and chairs. This way, the academic director and the principal can make the determination where the need is around the building. So that's combined into one. The physical education, that money is for the fitness center. That's something years ago when you built it, that was one of the agreements that we made, was that we were going to keep investing in that. It's a great facility. We want to keep the fitness center up to date and current. So that's something that we've always committed to do, was to support that with investments every year. The business technologies, getting some workstations. I'm just trying to touch base on some of the highlights. The big ticket items you'll see under carpentry, $85,000 CNC router. That we're hoping to get for Perkins. It is something new for the school district. And what that does is it's able to, for mass production of carpentry, this way the machine can put it through and the kids, once they've done it a few times, they've got the experience. So this allows them to focus on new things for them instead of just doing it. And it actually brings some technology into the shop, where right now they don't really have it. And it's a recommendation from their advisory committee as well. So that is a big ticket, but the goal is to get that out of Perkins for next year. Trying to kind of go through quickly, give you highlights, don't want to bore everyone. Programming and web, Brad kind of alluded to some gaming that's going on, our esports program. So you'll see about $32,000 for gaming monitors. And the reason is we have a few shops, as you all know, that their equipment is actually technology, is computers. So that's why you'll find that in here, along with DVC, Design Visual Communication. There's also $40,000 to buy them technology, because that's what they use. This is how their shops function. And based on conversations and the direction, especially with remote learning, that the vocational director strongly supports and thinks this is going to be extremely helpful to those programs. The other big ticket, as you know, the athletics, the gym floor is in need of repair, and our bleachers are, I think, original to the building, last I checked. And the goal for next year was to put the bleachers in the floor at the same time. Excuse me. So this way, when, our bleachers right now, they're very difficult to move in and out. So we'll do the floor and I see Taryn agreeing with me. So we'll have everything done one time, hopefully get everything accomplished over the summer. And that's $100,000, something that we had talked about last year as well. And then under the ed tech budget, Brad, if you want to jump in on that one, you'll see there's about $220,000 for server replacements. There's switches that are needed around the building. There's interactive whiteboards that need to be replaced. Again, we saw a lot of this as part of the remote learning, trying to get some of our older technology up to date, putting consistent technology throughout the building. So as teachers move around, they're easier for them to, go from one room to the next and still be able to log in and, have a seamless transition for the students in the building. So having said all that, and taking into consideration some of our revolving account numbers, our total budget is 1.2 million, but 182,000 coming from other revenue sources, and would be assessing the town members $1,035,114. And this number is consistent with our plan that we have been working off of for the past 5-6 years. When we borrowed the money for the athletic field, this is the financial advisors had put this together, and we've shared it with you. We've shared it with the town managers, with FinCom, and agreed to stay within those numbers, and this budget accomplishes that. So I know it was quick, but again, we spent a lot of time with the budget subcommittee, so those are some of the highlights. If Ron or Patty, Glenn, if you guys have anything you want to add for the budget subcommittee, please jump in.
The only question I had, was there any changes that were made since we last saw this, or is
A
this?
typo or two was corrected, but
Okay.
nothing with numbers.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
No, I think we went over this in our committee meeting,
Right.
Patty, and no, I think we have answered all the questions in terms of the money is well spent. That's all I have to say. And
Yes.
our
I'll
shops
make
get
a
the
motion
best,
to approve the capital budget.
and I will second that.
Okay. Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes,
Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So it's a
Thank you.
unanimous vote.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for Melanie.
Yes.
Have the various towns given any indication that COVID has affected their timelines at all? Or are they still planning to have all their regular meetings, finance committee, town meetings, et cetera, and just have your participation be virtual instead of actually going to see them?
Brad can answer that better than me. The only one that we've heard from is Wilmington.
The only town that's reached out to us right now is Wilmington, and they're on schedule to do their town meeting at the regular time, and are going to do it face-to-face at Shriners. We're on schedule to bring a proposed budget to the budget subcommittee in early February and bring it to this committee at your February meeting. That then we can communicate with all our member communities about what their FY22 assessments at that time.
I think Wilmington, is March 2nd, isn't it, Brad? Finance. committee?
Oh, that's right. I did get an invite for that. Yes, you're right. March 2nd. Very good memory, Jim.
Yeah, Tyron, I think Bereka might do what they did last spring in high school
Yeah,
and have that. And I know, Melanie, don't they reach out to us at the finance committee? You haven't heard anything yet.
No, Mary
Okay.
McBride is really good
Okay.
about reaching out and scheduling it.
I know every time you read that in Bereka here, the town hall closes and opens every week, Tyron, right? They've had so many COVID outbreaks. Anyway, so I think they're gonna go like they did, Melanie. We went in June, excuse me. They'll probably do the same thing where they use the high school social distancing and just do it in one day,
Yeah.
which is like great. Wilmington gets it done, but I think when the world comes back to normal, they'll go back. I was telling Melanie, Selectman Conway tried to change it, but they said no. So I think eventually I'll go back to 4 nights in May, which in October, Darren, some of these people, they love that. It's like their night out. But anyway, that's what's going on, man. So Melanie, when you're here, I'd like to be part of that, please. And Taryn too.
me as well.
And Brad,
Of course.
Brad, we'll go to town meeting with you. Love to go to town meeting with you.
I love town meeting.
They try. I know. I'm gonna get the sandwich. Last year I missed the sandwich.
I'll bring you a Big Mac.
They had a nice box lunch there. Anyway.
All right, the next item, the updated public participation we've already done. And the annual report that Brad did for the towns, I just read through it. It was a great
That's-
job.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you to everybody who participated. It's a great summary and something that we would recommend. We're providing for your information, something that will be in each of your annual town reports and something that you can provide your constituents to explain what's going on at Shawsheen this year.
Great
Okay.
overview.
Well done. Okay.
Okay, future agenda items. I do have one thing, Brad, about if you could ask Karen, the superintendent evaluation, if she could get those out to the committee members. And,
Okay, Patty, I also have
okay,
something for the agenda.
okay,
I'd like to put on the agenda specifically discussion on the possible extension of the superintendent's contract.
okay, that's right. Okay. So that'll be for next meeting.
Yes, February meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
Patty, the next meeting, there will be the public hearing in the
Oh, public hearing.
FY22 budget.
Yes.
The school committee will be presented and be asked to approve the FY22 budget. We are planning on bringing the course of studies to you. Any course of studies changes for the high school will be are coming forward on the 23rd. And we're also going to be requesting approval of an out-of-state field trip to Orlando for the students and a chaperone to go to the Microsoft competition.
Okay.
So
All
a
right.
little longer meeting next time.
Okay.
Okay,
When will
Brad,
the,
you brought up, and I don't think we have the curriculum subcommittee anymore, but you brought up the course of studies. And I think that I would like to see more of an input in civics in our social studies department. An emphasis on civics.
Yeah, I would echo that, Jim. I agree
Yeah,
with you 100%.
I agree with
That's a
that
great
totally.
idea.
I
Yeah,
thought we had done that a couple years ago.
We tried, I know,
Yeah.
but there's
I
so
thought it
many
was already
strands.
done.
There's so many strands. No, those strands keep getting cut.
Yeah.
They keep getting smaller, and I think that we need an emphasis on it.
Okay.
Thank
Period.
you for that feedback. I'll
Brad,
make
will
sure
we-
it's passed along.
I have a question on that. Has that been reduced over the years, or is it just that it hasn't been emphasized at all?
Actually, recently, one of the most recent changes to the state social studies frameworks has re-emphasized the concept of civics, and it required students to complete a project for a civics-based project as a graduation requirement, locally developed. So there will be some more emphasis on civics in the course of studies that you'll see.
But it will be part of the academic, not just the community thing.
It'll be part of the academic programs and
And the community.
And the requirements.
Now, Brad, also, the operating budget, how soon are we going to get that?
Melanie and I are trying to put that to bed either the end of this week or early next week. I'm reaching out to the budget subcommittee chair, Mr. Moffett, to try to schedule a meeting definitely before February vacation for the budget subcommittee, and we'll get that draft to the budget subcommittee prior, well in advance of that meeting.
Our next meeting is what, the 23rd of February?
And then, and we'll be getting you your meeting packet. The meeting is the Tuesday after
Yes.
February vacation, and Karen and I are going to try to get the packet to you before either before we leave on February vacation or early in the week. So
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think, and we do have an executive session tonight, correct?
Yes.
yes, for the purpose of discussing pending litigation.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make a
So
motion. We
moved.
go. Oh, okay.
Second,
Got it.
Okay,
roll
Mr.
call.
Gillis,
Yes,
Mrs. Gillis,
yes,
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre,
Yes.
Ms. Asbedian,
Yes,
Mr. Fusco,
Yes,
and did I miss anybody? And the
you're in.
the chair
Cheers.
says yes,
Chair says
so
yes.
and we'll be returning only for adjournment,
only
correct?
to adjourn. That is,
Actually, we cannot return on this medium. So this, we will not return to public session.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay,
We'll adjourn from executive
We'll
session.
adjourn from executive
Executive
session.
that's
We will
even
not
better.
return.